United Real Therapy. Big up to every one of you people. Welcome to the show. Special show. We got a guest on today, Natalie, who's an absolute diehard Man United. If you could, Natalie, she bleeds Man United. And I'm telling you, I don't know many absolutely like the level of dedication to follow this. She follows the youth, the women's, the men's. Anything to do with football and the Man United, Natalie's there, man. So big up, Natalie, and big up to every one of you. Today's interesting show. We're going to be talking about the Glazer model of Glazonomics and how that applies both to the women's team and to the men's team. Saeed and Tom hopefully going to join us soon. We're going to crack on with that. But big up to you. Big up to everybody. Natalie, how are you? How are you? Are you still doing the fan cams for after each game for the women's?
Yeah, we're starting it back up soon. So check out Only One United Club. There's a lot of content there about the women's, the Euros. Obviously, the Lionesses just won. You know, I got Katie Zellin, the captain, on my shirt. All that's going on. Yes, Saeed, okay. So go and check that out. That's my channel that I'm running now. Should have put it in my name, but it is what it is.
You know what? What is it? What is it called? I'm gonna change it.
Only One United.
Actually, you know what? You can just change it. If you go to the thing, you can just change the editor. But big up, Natalie. Big up. Natalie's got Only One United. So she's covering the women's team and also talking about the women's Euros. You can check out all of the content. So make sure you're there. Natalie, big up. New season for the women's. Great start to the league season.
Yeah.
Me and you spoke on the DMs about how the Glazonomics is now catching up with the women's team as well. From those who don't know, I remember me and you speaking and obviously finding out that was it Casey Stoney? Was it Stoney?
Yeah, Casey Stoney.
Yeah, Casey Stoney. It's been one of the most people that Man United have employed in recent years with the utmost integrity. Her was a woman who managed the team, but Man United, in the first time of asking, first of all, the club was shamed. The Glazers were shamed into having a women's team. I remember when I was a kid, Man United had an amateur women's team that the club had nothing to do with, didn't want to know anything about.
Yeah.
So for years and years, when Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea are having women's team, Man United had to be shamed into a women's team, the Glazers, right? Then we have a team. We start on the first division. First time of asking, she brings us up. Then we push really hard. She puts a fantastic team together. And yes, Murta might have helped out with a bit, helped out the structure. But soon as things were not, as it seems like with the Glazers, they'll put a little money in to help out a little bit, and then they'll withdraw it. And what happens? They get treated despicably. If she can speak properly, I don't know if they put an NDN on her, means non-disclosure agreement, where they basically gag her.
Yeah, I've never heard from her since.
Right? Because I think she's gone to America now. She's gone to an America.
Yeah. It's been it'll be 2 years now, so I don't know how long they would have put it on. But I definitely know there was some kind of agreement when she left. Obviously, it came out in the papers sort of as soon as she left how they were treated. And she spoke a bit about it during the Euro. She had a column in the Times, and she sort of hinted, but never fully, you know. So I do think there is still some kind of, I know there's some kind of clause where she couldn't buy our players first thing. So, you know, obviously that's protecting your assets, which, you know, we know they're good at. You know, we know that they're good at putting all these +1 things, and, you know, then they end up not getting the same amount of money that they should. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe she wants to sort of cut it, which, you know, I respect her, she does. But yeah, it was really bad, you know. I don't know if you want me to go into it now, but, you know, they were training.
Let's educate people.
Basically, they play at Lee Sports Village. That's where all the teams play. The 23s play. Obviously, the women play. The women just sold it out. Like, there was about 7,000 tickets, 5,000, you know. So they're trying to really build it, and it is really building from the Euros. But that's where they made the women train, because they said that it was full, too busy, too packed. And when we first started this women's team, they said the women are going to train at the Cliff, But unfortunately, the Glazers, whoever started it, didn't really know. The cliff is condemned. It's not a building where you can have a first team, up to date, state of the art kind of thing. Maybe under 12s can train there, but not a first team that you want to be winning trophies, that you want them to be, competing for Champions League. So obviously during COVID, they had all these protocols. They came to Lee, and then the pitch froze in the winter, and they had to move about. Like I said, they moved to these places that just weren't up to scratch. Then finally they agreed, come into Carrington. But it wasn't coming to Carrington and we're going to push and make sure that we, come and win this league. Sitting top, by the way, when this happened. Sitting top of the league when this happened. It was coming to Carrington. You can't use our gym because the men are using it. You can't use this. You can't use that. You can't have these facilities. There was mistakes that she made that I do know about, but, they still got a pop-up kind of tent thing. So if anyone ever watches the 18s, there's a white building in the background, and that's where the women gym is.
True.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And they weren't. I think now they've got like their own kind of. Well, I don't think much has changed really from it. What I've been told, not much. I know they've got 2 new pitches now, which it's good, but they have to put in money.
Like a second-class citizen, basically.
Yeah.
That's what they feel. Like, and like Chelsea, they're integrated. The women's Man City, they built them a stadium. They built them a stadium, and they all used to training facilities. Everybody knows what's going on in that football club. Arsenal, still very successful, right? They're integrated. They're women's. Ian Wright, you don't have any of our ex-players who champion the women's. No, they just focus on the men's, right? So it shows you the priority of the Glazers. The reason why I've had Natalie on, because I keep seeing Natalie's tweets about what they've done this season. One of the best midfield players for Manchester United has been let go lastminute.com by the Glazers to be going and join PSG. Jackie, please, Natalie, can you just give us a little bit more about what the
Some more's come out now. Her agent said that when she joined, she was promised within a year they'd be competing. They'd be putting money in to be in the Champions League. She signed a 3-year deal with an option. She was told at the end of last year when we didn't get Champions League, after the 3rd year, you can leave. She found a club, but then United activated the option and then started rejecting bids for her after telling her she could leave. So lastminute.com, like I said, the window closed, not got a replacement in, and they've accepted a bid of 130 grand. Which for me, I just feel like I don't understand. She's your best player. Yes, she wants to leave. I'm seeing people asking over Russo. That's another one, and I'm sure we'll go on to it. Yes, she wants to leave. She's in a last year of a contract. Yes, you're going to lose her for free. But, I'm not confident that they're going to then go out. Like Man City, they just got a world record bid, 500,000 for Kira while she went into leave. But they pushed, they drove up the fee. Doesn't matter if you're in your last, I just feel like we were saying then, it's always second class, it's always last minute. It's not thinking of the future, the plan. I mean, yes, they've done good signings. I'm not going to come and say the manager or the team or I don't support. Of course, I love them all, but I'm not confident. And like we're saying, Glazer-Nomics, it was always in the women's team. I think I was just blinded because I thought, we've got a women's team. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, they're going to be different. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's going to be different. That's what I was told the first day when I rocked up. It's going to be different this time around.
Yeah. You're mute, Nuruddin.
By the way, Russo and her family are already talking about Russo becoming the first £1 million women's player in this country. And she could be moving because the club are showing no ambition. And the thing about it, the crazy thing about it, I love the way the coach, Casey, was coaching. This guy coaches. One of the best games we saw last season was at Old Trafford, was the women's team against Everton. That was the best game I seen at Old Trafford last season. And the other best game was the youth team. So it shows you where the men's have been. And then obviously our under 23s for women's did the double in the Northwest, didn't they? Last season. Yeah. Our under 23s women's won the league and they won the cup in the North. So we've got talent that are coming through. But still, what's happening at this football club? Anyway, big up Saeed and Tom. Again, I get them in the conversation. How you doing, Saeed? You had a good day, bro?
Yeah, Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad. Bit of obviously, you know what I mean. It's
Some little birdie told me that you've been out fashion. You've been modelling this weekend.
yeah,
Down south.
That's it. Down south, man. You know what I mean. London was carnage.
With your crocodile Dundee shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Them pointy shoes, I tell you. Them pointy shoes, right? They're very uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's an event, so I just thought, let me just wear these. But I'm gonna definitely find it because now everyone's like, yo, them pointy shoes, man. They're funny, man.
If you wear a suit, you have to wear those type of shoes.
Yeah, I know.
How you doing,
Yeah, doing good.
Sun is
well.
sunny, eh?
Oh well out here.
The beer is flowing, eh? The beer is still flowing.
Beer is still flowing, man. Yeah.
But Man United didn't ruin your weekend this weekend. Actually, our women's team smashed. Lally, I'll go back to you a little bit.
Yeah. 4-0. Yeah, brilliant. There's a new player in there, Maya Letizia. For me, she's a future England captain. Wow. You know, 3-year deal. Really, when Chelsea are putting people on 4 or 5-year deals, this is the thing. And you know, she's 20 years old, made the most appearances as a teenager, already for Brighton, already got a bright future, captain of the England under 23s. I'm sure she's going to get called up and, you know, potentially playing in the World Cup. But, you know, I just want to see something from him. You know, we're talking about Russo, we're talking about Toon, who is on a long deal. But, you know, I saw an article before about 8 of like 25 players are out of contract this year, and it's like, come on, where's the energy? You know, we've just appointed. Took us 7 months to appoint a director of football from Brighton. She's a very good lady. She'll probably do well. But 7 months when they got in the deputy quite quick for the men, and you know, for me, we're still waiting for this woman to start, and there's thought that she might not start till January. You know, all this, and by that point, people like Russo are gone because you're taking too long, and it's just. Yep. It's reactionary, not proactive, not thinking ahead, because this women's team could do it. You know, you're saying the best performance that you've seen at Old Trafford, 23s are winning doubles. You know, this team could do bits, but I think if you just leave it, then you'll be in a worse state than the men. And you have to put in even more money because there's big money going around in the women's game now. Transfer fees, City have just paid about 200 grand for a player. You know, I know it sounds minimal, but it's gone. These things are going up now. And we've got a team there. You know, I'm hearing Real Madrid are putting 6 million in. They're serious. You know, this is where we're at. Barcelona are making big money. They've got Spotify for the women's. They've got deals for the women's, and we're supposed to be the best club commercially. Where's my women? You know, what's that kind of thing? And it's just like you said, afterthought. It's think about the men. We'll just attach the women. No, get the women their own deals. Do things like this. You know, what are they good at? They can't even do the stuff that they're good at.
Promote them. Natalie, I'll come to you just with this last question, okay? Let people know how far Leigh Sports is. Leigh is another town outside of Manchester. Man City have their stadium right across the road from their stadium. And no working class kids or family can afford. You have to take 2 buses. You have to take a bus from City Centre Manchester to Leigh, and then you take another one to Lloyd Sportsfield because it's a gym. I've been there. I know where that is.
I might be reading wrong into this. Is it close to Liverpool? Is it closer to Liverpool than it is Manchester?
No, Wigan.
Yeah.
Or Wigan.
Yeah, it's basically Wigan and Leigh. I mean, they have started it now. You know, they've done a bus just now. But the thing is, they're not talking about it. They're not telling you. So then they can say no one's doing it, so they can stop it. You know, these kind of things. You know. There is things there.
Glazer tricks. That's what we call them, glazer tricks, Natalie. Glazer tricks. Glazer tricks. Yeah. At the end of the day, people, it shows you, right? Here, you just think majority of you guys, thinking about the first team. We've got a women's team. We've got under 23 and under 18s women's team as well. Some of our young men, boys, train in pits. When I say about pits, it's like burn away 3D pictures like that have been proper run down. They can't even train at Old Trafford. But this is what I'm trying to say to you, right? Something's got to give. Something is got to give because this can't continue for long. It can't. We own all of the land. You know, when you're outside hotel football, we own all of the land on the right-hand side. All of that behind it. all of those, Man United could buy those businesses out for that land and build an incredible stadium for the women and the youth.
It's a freight land, isn't it? That someone was saying it in the stadium, like it's a freight land. But the only thing is, they're saying that because of this high risk that's involved, they can't do it. But I'm sure they would find a way if they wanted to.
I think it's not. They can do it. They can do it. And I'm back. What you're saying, I'm fed up now. But when you think about it, all the money they would have to put into the training, all the money they have to now sort of put into the stadium, because people have had enough. It's get out. It's time to go. And unless they're gonna do it, which I don't see them doing, they're gonna do it with debt, and then it's more debt, and then it's less, kind of promotion and all these kind of things for the women and for the 23s and all that kind of stuff. And I just feel like it is very, like what you were saying, Said, very, not saying misstructure. It is very like everyone just thinks of the men, but think of the women, because we think that things are bad for the men. It's going to be 10 times worse for the women, you know what I'm saying? It's, and like you said, that there is that passion that they love the fans, they love the football club. But, if there's no ambition, then you do have to leave. Even how much you love it, you have to leave because you want to be the best for yourself. They're professionals at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Come in, Tom. What were you saying, Tom?
No, I was saying about it with the transport thing. I didn't realise with Leigh Sports Village anyway. I know Leigh, it's like it's near Liverpool and it's like Greater Manchester area, that sort of thing. But I thought when I was hearing about travel and stuff like that, I'm thinking, is it closer to Liverpool than it even is Manchester? Like, and you think about the rivalry behind those two cities. Forget the football aside of it, just the two cities economically. And you've got one of your football stadium brands, even with it being the women's team, is closer to your rival city than your own city. That in itself, I just think, is disgraceful in its own right. And like you say, you hear about all these mega team, the mega teams with the men's team and stuff, where Spurs have just purchased a £1 billion stadium, and then they've got the money to offshore it. Manchester United could easily do that for the women's team if they needed to, because commercially they make enough money over 2-3 years, even if it has to come from the women's team, with tickets, with a brand new stadium. People will want to go to the stadium, even if it's not just to watch the women's team, for the facilities. They would want to go in that environment. It's new, it's fresh. You will attract tourists from not even just the UK, internationally, who will fly in to go and have a look at the new stadium. So you will easily make commercial revenues back, even if you build a new stadium. That's just my point on it anyway. So from a financial point of view, it works. I'm telling you now,
Tom, and I'm telling you, Saeed and Natalie, if Man United built a 20,000-seater stadium
that's what I mean,
at Old Trafford for the women's team, and guarantee you now 10,000 weekly, every week, when United are playing away from home, right? Or not playing out in Manchester, there'll be so many United fans that would go there. I'm telling you now. And that's the thing about it. We would have the best atmosphere at home in any football club. We would have the best atmosphere at home, but they don't want that. It's like all this on tap potential. And people tell me about Glazers being clever. No, they're effing not. They're not clever. They're not. Like that, you would inspire so many. I'm telling you now, the amount of fathers and mothers, right, that would look at that and go, oh, it's not too expensive. Let's go and watch. And then you are then tapping into the talent of the local area and they're tapping into the future Man United players.
Well,
you know what? Yeah, go on.
You know what? That's what you see now, isn't it? You see all these little kids, city, and that's because, like you say, it's on their doorstep. They can just go for cheap, and they all support City because, like you say, that stadium's there. Even if it's just watching the under 18 boys or 23s or, like you say, the women, if that's all they can get to, at least they can get to it because it's right there, on their doorsteps.
My thing is, because the way City have done it, they've made it like a community, like the women's and the under 21s and the under 80s all have a base. Like they have it. That's what and what connects them. And it's kind of funny, isn't it? But a bridge connects the team in it together, and it's a symbol in it because that bridge over from Man City Stadium takes you directly over. So when people are saying, "Oh, where's the under 21 stadium or the women's? Where do they play?" Yeah, just go over the bridge. Are you there? Like how simple And like, when you're talking about that, Nuruddin, you're talking about families and whatnot, and people
Yeah.
spreading that message, you just go over the bridge and you're there. Like, look how simple that is. But now they're saying, and when you say now Lee Sports Village, and everyone's like, what? Lee? What do you mean? Like, where am I going? Like, is it
Exactly.
here? It's meant to be here. And that's the next step. And this is the thing that, why I didn't buy into Richard. Was it Richard Arnold when he was talking about, like, what has, he's saying that about this thing, but even Carrington, like even if you look at the men's team as well, they haven't modernized Carrington. So when we're expecting the women's team to be modernized, it's like they're not even doing like anything. They're not doing nothing. There's no basis for anything, and that's the problem. They're not doing anything to kind of make sure that United are leveling up. They're not. And hopefully, Ralph Ragnick said it as well. If you look at the training ground, if you look at this and that, like what's going on, like what we're doing,
Yeah. Well, say that's the thing, and Ralph made the point, didn't he, about the sponsorships. If you get the right sponsorship deals in place that cover you financially, you don't have to worry about offshoring money when you want to renovate a new stadium or a training ground. You don't have to do it because Spurs have just done it. They're £1 billion in debt. But the way how Daniel Levy's cultivated the cash around is they don't have to start repaying that mortgage on the stadium for the next 3 years. And you're coming up to nearly 3 years now when they will have to start paying the money back off of the stadium, but they've put a clause in with a contract. So it's a 15-year guaranteed plan where you just pay off bit by bit by bit each year. But financially, you can still sustain your football team, whether it be the men's team, women's team, under 21s, whatever age group you want to use or gender. When you want to evaluate it with your football team, you can still run financially alongside of paying off your stadium. It's only like when you try and pay bills, you can be 10 grand in debt. So long as you still have the money coming in, week out, you can pay off a bit of your debt and still pay the bills at the end of the week and still can make a cup of coffee in the morning, so long as you have the right finances in place. Manchester United, if it's been about money and sponsorship deals, Manchester United have had some of the biggest sponsorship deals I've ever known. The Adidas deal, for example. My God, some clubs would dream of having stuff like that. Could you imagine the money that the Adidas deal could generate in the women's game? A deal like that goes to any of the women's clubs. It doesn't have to be Man United, Chelsea, Spurs, whoever it wants to be to. That money that they could generate, it could change a whole landscape of the women's game. The amount of money, and it's not. I think it's a wrong word and a wrong term to use. Where I know Graham Soon has used it. Football's a men's game. I don't ever agree with that. Football's about equality. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter about your race, gender, anything, age, nothing. If you have a passion for a sport, you do it, regardless of what anybody thinks, and you go full steam ahead and go for it. And this is why you need an owner who's not only got an eye for one thing, which is a franchise of American sports and their way of funding, their sporting events in America. Listen, you're not in America. You're in fucking 20th century Britain. If you want to come over here and set up businesses and everything like that, and you don't know the first thing about doing it, don't come here. Don't own a business in a foreign country. Sell it to somebody who's a British citizen, like the likes of Sir Jim Radcliffe, who has the funding, who has the fundamental backgrounds of running a football team. He does it with Nice. So if you want to go down this road of funding and actually a proper owner who actually cares about every branch of a football club, because regardless of what club you support every part of the club, whether it's the men's team, women's team, whatever level of under 20s you want to, or underages you want to watch. They're a part of your team and they're a part of your future, your football club. So you back them to the hills, but you don't have to back the people who fund them. And that's what a lot of people don't do. We don't back the Glazer family. They've had I don't know how many years now of this and failed miserably time and time again. But like you say, if you get the right financial investment in, you don't need to worry about investing £300 million every time into a new squad with the men's team, or XYZ amount of money into the women's team, or building new stadiums. If you have the right sponsorship deals in place, you can sustain it. Barcelona, the most in-debt club in the world, behind Tottenham Hotspur, being the most in-debt club in the world, but financially, they are still going ahead. Because of why? They've got big sponsorships in. The Spotify deal, close to £400 million, economical levers financially, which get them out of trouble. This is what you talk about when you talk about cities, because it's funded by a city. Manchester United is funded by what? American businessmen. Real estate men, as I call them anyway. But until you want to go for an ownership change or you get a regime change at a football club, you don't see any of it happen. And that's the one thing. And the main point of this all is whoever you get a new ownership in with or a new ownership model, I don't want to hear an American tagline to it. I'm sorry, I don't want an American owner. No, I don't want. It's bad. People talk about it's bad enough going for Middle Eastern money. I understand that with human rights, everything to do with human rights. American money, they want to come in and change how sport is actually conducted and played. Todd Bowley's coming here. He's rocked up with with buying Chelsea for nearly £4 billion, invested £300 million in the squad, and suddenly he thinks he's Goddo. And he can make his own fixtures and his own games, an all-star men's game. This, why not an all-stars women's game then? Why not an all-stars under-18 game? Why is it all revolved around men? Because the perception is what? Football is a men's game. And it's wrong. And it needs to change.
Yeah.
Listen, 100%. But Khalid, get the quotes ready about January. But I want to come to now and get Natalie's point of view as well. Erik ten Hag's coming. He's got a style of play. He's something we've not had since Fergie left, Natalie. I'm sure you can see that.
Yeah.
You
Breath of fresh air.
Yeah, right. You can see that. Ralph Ranić said before he left, Man United need open heart surgery. We don't need any plasters here. We need at least 10 players.
But to be fair, you made that a quote before, Rag. Remember about the plaster? That's funny, that, isn't it? You know, a couple of years ago.
I kept saying it. I kept saying the funniest thing is that I saw Gary Neville saying it on Sky. Oh, the bankers. I'm like, how long have I been talking about
Tell him when you watch the podcast,
wow.
Man.
You know what? It's almost like it goes from grassroots, innit? It comes from the bottom, and it takes time till the pundits are saying what I've been saying for years. But anyway, Natalie remembers I've been onto these. Natalie remembers even before we would even say hello to each other, I remember from like, even when we were both younger, from like, you know what I mean, over a decade ago, being at the Green and Gold protest, Green and Gold protest, you know, at the height of it when we were winning. So Erik ten Hag's come in and he's basically said, for me to go, and that I think he threatened to walk. That's what I believe. They pulled 100 million out of their backside for some reason, because they told everybody in the world, Man United having a misjointed, unbalanced squad of players for a long, long time. Man United had 130 to spend when you know what everybody else was spending. You know Arsenal outspent us in the last 2-3 years. You know Spurs were going out spending. So at the end of the day, that's why we saw that panic. But Natalie, he said, I want to talk about the structure. This was his words. Last interview he did, they were like, what are you going to be doing over the International Week? He says, I want to be looking at specifically about the structure and about January and summer. And guess what? What did the club come out with? Who do they brief?
Yeah.
Larry Whitwell.
What did it say? Erik ten Hag is to go all in for out Anthony rather than bring a right back. Would have been target if that money. See? You see? Look what they're saying. They're telling the manager who knows more about them. They're telling him, no, you should have gone for the right back. And here we go. But Natalie, where do you come in this? He's talking about the structure. He's talking about, evaluating everything because he wants to play his football. And for that, he needs players who can understand the way he wants to play.
Yeah. Yeah, man. He is a breath of fresh air. He's come in. And like you say, obviously something happened that they managed to pull out that money, because we were looking at an Autovich and this and Rabiot. Next minute, Casemiro comes in, Anthony comes in. You know, something happened. I agree with you. There's no way they were targeting those kind of players and suddenly Casemiro. No way. Something happened, like you say. It would have been mad if it was. So maybe it was something like that.
But it was funny though. With sorry to cut you up, but Rabiot and Arnautovic, the fan base had to go against the idea of Arnautovic coming. So it's actually mad, to think that we were there, but it still doesn't hide the fact. One thing that I don't know if you addressed it already, but Ten Hag, when the commentator asked him what you're gonna do for the next couple of weeks, he said, I'm gonna look at some transfer. I'm gonna look at and plan ahead for transfers maybe in January and beyond. So he's already active and he's looking. I was shot already, so I'm looking to get active again in January. And obviously, this report comes out and says, no, well, we're looking at summer. But they said this last January, by the way. Remember, they gave us January. They don't like to spend in January because, last January they said we're going to make sure all our funds are in the summer. It leads up to the fact that...
You know why they don't want to spend in January? Because January is usually dividends months for them, innit?
Well, there you go, yeah.
It's dividends month for them. But Eric Tenhag is keen to get next stage of his rebuild, but the funds are expected to be very tight when the winter market opens. And then he goes along to say that Joe Glazer and Arnold are focused firmly on summer 2023 as the next opportunity to significantly. You mean 2024? That's what they mean. What we are not? We are still not 23. It's 23.
23.
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing as well? That he's just quoted. It was Eric Tenhag's decision to go all out for Anthony rather than bringing him right back. Like, this guy's come in, right? And everyone's feeling him. Everyone's feeling this factor. They're feeling this change. There's a more connection with the fan base. And their first idea is to go after him. Like, I just try and throw him under the bus. And I saw comments as well about it. And I'm thinking to myself, this club, why are you throwing this guy under the bus? But he's challenging them. And that's what they did with Renton. The minute someone steps up, says different things, challenges them. We were talking about before, Casey challenging them in what they were doing in their sort of ambition. Even sort of the girl that's left, Jackie, challenged them, says, I want to win, I'm a winner, these kind of things. And next minute, sort of saying like they're more together now without her, as if sort of, trying to make her out to be the bad guy.
Egg. That's what they do, propaganda.
They're doing it well. If you want a male, example, just to compare to that, look at what they've done with Cristiano Ronaldo. They call him the greatest player of all time and everything. He wanted to leave and all this because he challenged the club's ambitions because they weren't in the Champions League. Financially, it would have suited him to leave as well because he would have probably still got a better deal away from Manchester United and getting bigger sponsorship deals for his brand. But now he's stayed at Manchester United. All it is, look, he's not playing. They look so much more fluid as a team, and the lack of goals seems to have gone because of the passing channels, the way that they want to play, the creativity. It's almost as if everything's rosy and everything's been forgotten about. We hit a purple patch in the first 2 games because why? We bought players in too late and they didn't have time for a pre-season. So there was no organisation in those first 2 games, and that's why I call those games write-offs. Because I don't blame Eric Tenhag, and I certainly don't blame half of the players, the new players that came into this squad, because they had no time to adapt at all. Casemiro, people are saying, why have we bought him for £60 million? A, he was a panic buy, and B, he's not had any time to integrate with his squad or get to match fitness. Why? Because we bought him last minute. Lastminute.com, that is all it was. But anyway, go on, Rizzo.
That's what we do.
That is what we do, yeah, facts.
Big up, say. Once Arsenal strengthen in January, we'll challenge for the title, and we'll be United will be challenging for 4th and best Carabao. Listen, say you've won how many games? You've come to Old Trafford. You've had to eat humble pie. Now that you beat Brentford, you're getting a bit too giddy. Again, those shisha pipes, something in them. You need to chill out. You're 3 injuries away from being top 8 team. Right? Don't forget that.
Yeah.
You better strengthen.
Can I just touch on this Arsenal as well? Like, I think, they're doing well. Good for them. It's good to see that fire in that game back again. But like he said, isn't it? Just keep it calm. Like, this is about United now. Like, yeah, you're doing well, but we're talking about American owners, and they've got them. Let's not pretend like it's all rosy everywhere. And yes, we're happy now because we're winning, but it's still not all rosy. And it's something that really upsets me sometimes. I feel like other fans, Arsenal fans, they should get behind it. They should get behind getting these people out because they're going to ruin it for everyone. Look how they've already.
Well, they forgot about Cronkies. They forgot about Cronkies now.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's good about our fan base is that at least we're consistent about our ownership. You know what I mean? The Arsenal fan base.
17 years and counting. 17 years and counting. And we were winning back-to-back league titles. When we were winning Champions League. When we were going to Champions League finals. Manchester United was still fans were protesting these vultures. But don't worry. Love the Cronkies now. But we will see where they get you, people. We will see where they get you. At the end of the day, it's fascinating. Numerous industry sources believe United overspent in their 6 summer signings Canary recruitment would grant greater flexibility on transfers. What?
Yeah, Canny, a bit more smart investment. But that's
What
because
Mike,
United were desperate.
was hinting at in this improved structure comment.
You know why that is, Nordin? That is a point, yeah. But the understand is that, you guys, if you had a plan, you had a structure, you would have got Anthony a bit earlier. You didn't though. You wasted your time. Timber was the first choice. Then Lisandro Martinez, you went after him. I'm happy we got Lisandro Martinez, but like it's a case of, you didn't have a firm target. Ajax like, you know what? You've took too long now, and here's your basically your kind of like punishment. And they put the price up, and it is what it is. And the Casemiro one, that I think that came as a result of when he looked at the squad, he thought, damn man, we don't have a holding midfielder. We are weak in that team. And then obviously he's thought, you know what, go and get me him at all costs. And they've gone and done that because the fan base was at that point when we were shouting Glazers out and we were on them and what. Yep. That was a pressure signing. So in the day, you know what I mean? They're saying all this, but then it's like they're the problem. Like, do you not understand anything? You're overspending because you guys take too long.
Of course they do, yeah. And the easiest comparison to that side, where you said where it was I would call it a commercial sign anyway. When you bring in someone like Casemiro last minute for the money that you do, there was no plan or preempting behind it, because if he's a player that you've scouted and you've recruited as the ideal player for you, at 30 years old, he's not going to take you to the future. He's not. If we was Manchester City and we had the whole team around it, and you need one player to complete it, just like they've done with Erling Haaland, then you can understand why you blow so much money on one player at the age that he's at. But if you're talking about proper recruitment players, you go for a Bissouma, you go for a Moses Caicedo, you go for somebody who is of a younger model of age who you can develop into your system, or who's into Erik Tenhag's way of playing football. But I always go back to the same point with the signings that we made. They were all players who had either won major honours at other clubs, or who the manager knew on a personal level because of he trusts them. Because he came into this squad where there was no trust, there was no loyalty, there was no team unity. People got blindsided and smokescreened by the pre-season tour. Everybody's having a laugh, joking around, this, that, the other. You get to first two games in the season, everyone is panicking. Oh no, we've lost to Brighton, we've lost to Brentford. We're shipping goals for fun, blah blah blah. There's no dignity. There's no leader at the helm, and all you get from Joe Glazer or Avram Glazer is 5 minutes of fame on Sky Sports News is saying we're investing in the team. What more can we do? Yeah, invest all you want, lads. Invest in the right people to actually get the right people or the right players for you or the right staff, and you wouldn't have been in this position. Because if we was in this way, we'd be where Arsenal are, for example, right now. 3 years into a project or 3 years into a plan, and recruiting the right profile of players, not scamming around on the last days of the window. Because like Saeed said about the Anthony deal, I know for a fact Manchester United could have signed Anthony in June and July for 60 million euros. 60 million euros, that's about 50 million for anybody who wants to know. And we've paid nearly 90 million for him. In total, 90 million on the final days of the window.
Yeah.
All because what? We panicked because we couldn't get his number one player, which was Frankie de Jong, and he was pissed off about it. So then he had to go to revert to plan B, which was what? Oh, go and get me one of the best holding midfielders in the world. Who can we actually get who would leave a club for mega money? Casemiro. He's 30 years old, back end of his career. Right, let's offer him a shed load of money, he'll come. And long and behold, what he's come along. Cristiano Ronaldo did it last summer. Nobody else wanted him. We stuck up the money for him. Manchester City, the biggest smokescreen in the world. Bang, got him. This is what we talk about, big money. And then we talk about where the position that we are and the spending that we spend. Are we surprised that we are where we are when we spend the amount of money that we do? Because if we were going down the right road, we'd have employed a proper sporting director a long time ago. Just like what Chelsea are doing, for example. They're going for one of the best scouters in the Austrian market, which is what RB Salzburg, Christian Feind. And when you go down these roads of going for sporting directors who, might not have been heard of, right? If you don't want to go for if you want to go for a big household name, Luis Campos was sat there in Leo for 4 years.
Oh my God!
He was sat there at Monaco for 4 years, projecting both of those clubs. He was an advisor for Real Betis, and now he's gone to where? the biggest club in France, which is what, PSG. And then you look at the position that you're in. It doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Until you get proper recruitment people in, you don't change. And like I say, the big one for me, I'm waiting. 2-3 years. I've set my calendar date and everything. I hope I don't die before then. I want to hear what Ralph Ragnick's got to say about all this. A man who's properly built a football club. And like you say, you take an energy drink and turn it into 2 football clubs. That's proper recruitment. That's proper club building. What can the Glazers say that they've built? What have they actually built? I've not seen a digger anywhere near Old Trafford in what, nearly 17 years.
It's still
They can't even
leaking,
say they've
mate.
built a new stadium.
They're still leaking, yeah. I couldn't believe
Yes,
that
they're
video,
leaking.
by
There
the
you
way.
go.
And what they do is, I feel sorry for the stewards, because they do most of the work at Old Trafford. There's no kind of, I don't know if you've been to City Stadium, but they've got guys there that are willing to do everything like this. They've got technical people in there. You see different kind of operations going on. United, the poor stewards have to do it and get a little mop and just fix it up. No plan in the stadium at all, And that's what it is.
Listen, there's a bit of, I think there's a little bit, might be breaking news this, but it's interesting because obviously we're going to have, we spoke about it on a Straight Jacket podcast, by the way, 196. So make sure you go and check that out, Saeed TV. We've done it now in the Saeed TV channel. But because of the congestion in this season's Premier League games, the League Cup, now they're considering the FA Cup and the League Cup replays. So now when you get the luck of the draw, one game, winner takes it all. So it's going to be very interesting. They have to do that to be able to see the offset of now the games are postponed because of the Queen's funeral and the Queen's death. It's going to be very, very interesting. The morning of the Queen, anyway. But
it's going to be a madness, man.
It has to be madness, and that is going to have. If these things to happen, that will have a lot more things on what's going to happen. Who's going to finish top 4 anyway? But I'll go back to Natalie. Natalie, when you look at the men's team, what positions do you think we need in terms of like strengthening? What positions do you think key? Do you think we need another striker, whether Ronaldo stays in January, whether he stayed now? Do you think we needed another striker? I still think in midfield as well and defense. Where would you prioritize in January?
Well, right back, I would like. And then, I think up front, even if Ronaldo stays, I still think that, Rashford is coming into form, but I would like, another forward in there to sort of, we're seeing with Haaland, another sort of mistake, lack of planning. But the way the guy can just pick the ball, bang, back of the net, 2 touches and 2 of them are goals, that kind of thing. And I would like a striker like that. I don't think we're going to get him, but, somebody like that. And I mean, just listening to what I think it's Tom was saying, just about structure and having a plan and all these kind of things. It just makes me think back to women because it's all on the manager, and that's how it is with the men's. It's all on the manager to make that plan, and that's why we've got little bits of signings from here, Delo from that one, this one from this, and it's just all over the place when you then change your manager all the time. And fair play for Ten Hag looking to say there needs to be a structure. You need to have good scouting people. You need to trust your scouting people. You're nobody. You're a banker. How do you know who's good, who's this, who's wasting money, who's that? You don't know anything. So trust the football people, but get in the best of class. And like I said, it's the same with the women. There's no structure there. It's just all on the manager to make the decision. And then the manager gets up and leaves. Then you're 2-3 years behind, and it seems to be going that way with the men. They seem to be maybe potentially doing it right. But if they're already pushing back on Ten Hag saying these kind of things, then who knows? I mean,
but he will bite his bullet. He will bite his tongue. You know what I mean? And that's just the reality of it. And he will then have proper serious questions. You know what I mean? In the summer. But for me, leaving it all to the summer, you've got to drip in. You know what I mean? You've got to go and do what City do. Why do we never do these little pre-agreements when was the last time United done a pre-agreement where they got a player from January that played? We don't do. Why do we not do that?
They don't know what it is, Saeed. That's probably why. They never knew that you can do it.
Glazeronomics, mate.
They don't have the value in the player right now.
Of their own money. They've never spent a penny of their own money, Saeed. They don't listen. Man United have got they've got some of the best scouts. Man United have got an amazing scouts, but they never listen to them. Instead, for the past 10 years, we had Woodward and Matt Judge going by 4 or 5 agents, just buying players from 5, 6 different agents. That's what's been going on at this football club. And they're not going to change. That's why we need to get them out. We win or lose, or draw, we've got to get them out. And something's got to give, because they already put with their Moss agreement, they already said to Moss, we're going to revamp their stadium. We're going to work on Carrington. They haven't got the money. They haven't got the money to do that. So they just got to move on and sell. That's why you're getting all of this. No massive credible journalist is going to come out and say it. But there are a lot of rumors that what they're willing to accept for the 70% they own or 69% they own of the football club. They're willing to take 4 billion, run away. You didn't spend, you made the most they've ever spent. This is because when I look at when I do my research and look at some reports say they spent 200 and then added another 500. That was 700 million they bought the club, right? That's how much they paid for the club in 2005. Now, some of the reports say no, they just got 500, 600 million, and that was that they borrowed. But the majority of money, even if they put their money in, was the leverage debt which they put us on. So even the money that they've had to borrow again, because since 2017, they're still not making money in terms of commercial revenue. They're maxed out. How many more noodles can you advertise? How many more taps can you sponsor? Remember me telling you about that side that we sponsor taps? Taps where water comes out from.
But yeah, the taps at Old Trafford are bloody hell. You know what I mean? It's just
they're horrible.
They're horrible, man.
The infrastructure of that stadium.
The toilets in our stadium, honestly, you wouldn't wish your own enemy. I don't even go in the toilets, by the way, in the stadium. Even if I need a kind of a urine, I'm like, nah, I'll wait till I get home. I'll wait till I get home, mate, because it's like it's filthy, man. It's
crazy. So at the end of the day, something's got to give. Something has to give, and this affects every team regardless of gender, regardless of age. It affects, because if you haven't got a proper infrastructure and know how that works, they're not going to change. They're not going to change. They've told us they're not going to change. These people, how many more things do you have to prove? And there are still some in our fan base who go, well, it's all right. And I don't know if you've been hearing it, guys. Brentford apparently might be getting sold. Bournemouth might be getting sold. Guess who's buying both of them? American owners. And guess what they want? I personally think what they want is at least 12 or 13 clubs owned by Americans. So when it comes to voting, they can vote and change the way our football infrastructure is in this country.
Facts.
They want to have at least 10 or 13 owners who are American owners, so they can turn it into a franchises, and then no relegation or promotion. Everybody makes money.
Yeah, it's basically a Super League, just with what the Premier League being involved in it. Because why? Because you've got more people who are American owner based than you have liquidating in terms of the Premier League. And like you say, and this is what I mean, Nuruddin, when people have the perception and have the major neglect of when you bring in Middle Eastern owners and things like that. But what is worse, Middle Eastern owned money coming into the Premier League or American franchise money, which will change the game? Because the only difference is the Middle East will change your league financially. The American league will just change the rules of it. So either way, it's a lose-lose situation. You either want the rules to change or you're going to have more money coming to your league. Which would you rather have? That's the only problem, the only difference with it. But it's like we say, with how our league is run, there is no. I know Gary Neville goes on about it most of the time. There is no panelists. There is no boards in the Premier League to actually investigate owners' financial records, financial gains, where they get the money from, where they generate all their revenues from. You don't, and it's not. I don't want to go as back as a couple of months or maybe 18 months to 2 years. No, you need to go until they were bloody 18. Go as far back as their financial records prove. Everybody has it. We all have medical records when we have medical statuses. It's only the same with finances. If you own major financial businesses, you have things that cover your own ass, so you don't go bankrupt, you don't go bust. That's the main stream of starting a business. And in the UK market as well, like you say, if you want to invest in a foreign country, it's okay and well. Show us, prove where you get your finances from. And that is why I said Sir Jim Ratcliffe, in many people's eyes, in Manchester United fans' eyes, is the ideal owner. Legally speaking, he is the only legal owner, really, who has the legal liquidation and actually has the financial gains to do the deal. Because if you want to go Middle East, you're going to be talking 18 months like Newcastle took to get taken over. If you want to go American owners, you can go down that road, but you're just going to be going into the same fire pit that you just got out of. Because why? American owners, they all do one thing, piss in the same pot. And that is exactly what they've all done. Who was the main three owners that were leading the Super League from the Premier League? Where were they all from? America. Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United. The most three historical football clubs in our league owned by who? Americans. And I have nothing against the American people, but the American business people who want to come to our league and try and absolutely rip the rules and rip the scrapbook of it all, this ain't your country. I'm sorry, it's not. It's built up on what? The foundations of English football is built up on what? Grassroots football. They wouldn't know grassroots football if it in the face. Working class. There you go, Nuruddin. Working class people go to the stadium, not businessmen. If you want to go into there and if you want to roll in with £500 million, that's all well and good, like Todd Bowley's done. All I've seen him is splash a bunch of cash around, open his mouth, and what? And he's got nothing to say for it.
To me, the
nothing
biggest
to
thing
say
is
for it at all.
It's quite dangerous in terms, because if these Americans were lovers of football and they were football fans and they wanted to buy because they loved the job, if that was the truth, then you could say, you know what, it don't matter where they're from, as long as they love football and they respect the traditions and the culture of the country and the way that the football is in here. But they don't. They're all coming in because it's about making money. They're all vultures, parasites, just leeching off something they don't know about because it's popping right now. It's popping.
Yeah. Can I just say, right? We were all there. I saw you both. Tom, I probably have seen you because I recognise your voice, but we were all there at those protests when the Super League happened, and we were told, "Oh, we're gonna have this. We're gonna have, fan-led review," which it happened. Tracy Crouch came out and she said, "We need an independent regulator. We need to do these things, protect the heritage, protect football." Like we say in football in this country, it's built off grassroots, put into grassroots, and all these points were made and nothing's happened. And this is what I'm worried about. Like you say, Bournemouth are going to get bought out. Can't remember who. Brentford, they'll get bought out. And then, like you say, I think there's a rush now. They know that there's this thing, Liz Truss, is she going to do it? Is she going to not?
What's Liz Truss going to do now? What's she going to do now?
Liz Truss she's part of the club who are vultures and parasites. Let's get it right, people. That's what it's about.
It all matters now because I think they're going to rush to change it before this independent regulator. You know what I mean? So it's just funny how all these Americans are now coming
Anything
in.
That makes money, though. Anything that makes money, because they're saying that it will help the parachute payments for the Premier League. No, but this is what they're trying to say. He's saying that we will give money to the teams like Oldham who are struggling and all these teams who are struggling.
That's what they always say.
That's what they always say. That's what I'm trying to say to you. So
it's like now, it's like property developers in Manchester. They go,
I know.
We're going to build some social housing among these
Never,
people.
Mate. Never.
No, mate. No. You're in it for the money. It's almost it's like football. They're gentrifying football, gentrification of football. That's what's happening with these Americans. They're literally coming into British football, English football, going, they're like these fat cats just waiting in there, waiting. I'm telling
you know what it is, though?
Yeah.
The thing is, with like I said, with this Todd Bowley here, you know what I mean? One thing I always say that, I'm not saying I'm giving credit to, but he's trying to understand the game a little bit better. The Glazers, they don't have is any understanding of the game at all. And that's why I was saying with these Glazers, like, they are honestly the vultures. With this Todd Bowley, I think he's trying to get too big for his boots. He's almost thinking, you know what? While it's, we had the Super League, maybe I could just find out a way. Because he said no to the Super League, by the way. He said we don't want to do that, but he's trying to find a different way. And it's almost he's an opportunist. Todd Bowley, is the biggest opportunist there is, because he's trying to find a way when
he's trying to rebrand it. Yeah,
he's trying to rebrand it in a way that suits him. But like I said, with the whole idea of what he's trying to do and whatnot, the relegation battle was an interesting one, which I don't know if you guys agree with having a relegation battle, but as a kind of playoff,
No, Saeed, I don't want to see no playoff for the relegation. I don't want that. You know why? It's about points. It's about points that you put on the board. And at the end of the day, if the 3 teams above you have got better points than the 3 teams that have gone down, so be it. Don't
You deserve it, yeah.
Don't try to fix it when it's not broke, mate. He's tried to fix things and make it more exciting. So, people, no, mate, no. We already have that. The biggest game in European football, the amount of money, the promotion, the 2 clubs who want to come up, that final promotion team. So at the end of the day, it's funny. I don't want this guy to come and be dictating. You've only been here for 5 minutes, pal. And you already tried to Americanize football. Somebody said here, what somebody say? Somebody said football. Of course, we're not saying football belongs. No, we're not saying the football belongs to England. We're not saying that by any means. You're choosing to misunderstand us. The game is the beautiful world's game. It belongs to the world. But you know what? They're not interested in football. These American owners, they're only interested in that. They're interested in that and how much money they can make out of it and how they want to turn Britain into America. I'm sorry, I live in the UK. I don't live in fucking the US where they've got no relegation, no promotion, franchise. I don't want that. The beautiful game belongs to the world. It belongs to everybody. Even though it has its roots in this country. Yes, it has its roots in this country, but it belongs to the whole world. Nobody's been phobic about it. We're not against American people. We're against American pesticides, literally parasites, vultures who want to vulture on people because the game is popping. Because the Premier League is popping. They want to just vulture on that. That's what we're against. Nothing against America. Man United have got loads of American fans. Nothing but love and respect for them. They know they got so much knowledge. They spend thousands of their own money to come over to watch once or twice in a lifetime. We're not against that. We're not xenophobic by any means. We don't believe in xenophobic. The game belongs to everyone. And when I'm on that, actually, can I just say solidarity to Vinicius Jr., please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
solidarity to that brother. Because what he's getting, the abuse he's getting, because now he's become one of the best players in the world football. He's one of the best players. Messi and Ronaldo weren't doing what he's doing now at the age of 22. They weren't. And now in Spain, because he's a dark-skinned brother, because he has a little dance when he scores, no, you can't celebrate. You can't. And the guy who's equivalent to Gary Neville or Gary Lineker, calling him a monkey on national TV. Stop the monkeying around.
Yeah. Solidarity. Especially when we used to have, like, Bailly and Pogba dancing before the training and whatnot. And we had, like, people saying, Graham Souness saying, what's he doing and all that. So for me, like, it's just, let people be. Yeah.
It's personalities, it's lifestyles. People don't change.
It's also culture. It's
culture,
also culture.
Yeah, facts, yeah.
Like black people around the world, the amount of stick and racism black people have to deal with, music is part of our culture. We're always going to be dancing. Even when in tears, we always are going to have joy in this world. You know where he's from? He's from dirt, poverty, favela. One of the most racist countries in the world is Brazil. Anti-black racism. And then it comes to Spain and then people are calling him a monkey. And big up Daniel Alves for coming out with solidarity and supporting him. Big up to the Brazilian striker who plays for Atletico Madrid, who came out and supported him. Shame on Atletico Madrid and their fans as a football club as well. You're nothing but two big neo-fascists. That's what you are. We have to call it out. The days of black people being silent in our suffering are over. Get used to it. We ain't going to ever be quiet people. So solidarity. He's 22-year-old. He's a baby.
He's a baby as well.
Man and woman understands. Monkey chanting him. It's disgraceful.
Yep.
And Atletico Madrid as a football club have not done nothing.
No, they won't. They won't.
They won't. They need to protect the Yeah. They need to respect and protect sponsorship deals, don't they? That's why.
It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. I know different countries, when it comes to racism, at different stages. Obviously, we don't live in a perfect country. We get racially abused. You know what I mean?
We had Suarez, man. Remember Suarez incident? You know what I mean? With the T-shirts and all that.
Yeah.
So, tell you as a black woman, I'm sure Natalie's heard and seen so many things in your experience, how much you've experienced racism, Natalie. The fact that you're black and you're a woman The double.
Yeah. I mean, you get it. And then I watch women's football, so then they bring in like sexuality and stuff. And I mean, it's just it's all coming at you non-stop. And
It's crazy.
Yeah, like you say, it's crazy. I mean, I'm an ambassador as well. For her game too.
Yeah, big up, man.
So it's
big up.
It needs to be done, needs to be talked about. Like we were saying before, football's for everyone, whether you're gay, black, white, Asian, man, woman, how about old or young?
Binary.
And seeing those scenes outside. I mean, something we know Spain isn't, like you say, but we don't live in a perfect country either. But something they have to just. For me, it should be closed now. That's it. All games. That's it. Bye. Thank you. We don't want people like you and behind closed doors.
What's happening in Iran? Let us know, Killis. What's happening in Iran? We don't know, mate.
What's happening in Iran?
Yeah, some say scary stuff and that.
I don't listen. For me, the biggest thing in this channel, innit, I will forever say, and on my Twitter as well. I see you, right? So there's so many people when I talk about racism on my Twitter that get triggered. They get so triggered. It's like they don't. They get triggered. You get absolute triggered. I don't care. You know one thing about me? I'm never gonna stop talking.
Never
about
apologize.
Yeah, solidarity. Anybody who's been persecuted everywhere in this world for something that they cannot change, something that they cannot help. Right? Anybody who's getting persecuted in this country and everywhere. And a shout out as well, solidarity with the family of Chris Kappa as well.
Chris Kappa.
Getting murdered in daylight. Getting murdered in daylight. Right? And when he's got nothing, and then police in this country acting like the judge, jury, and executioner. Who are you to judge? Innocent to proven guilty, mate. That's the law of the land I know in this country. Innocent. But obviously when you're black, you're already guilty, aren't you, innit? You're guilty. Like Dave said in that song, innit? You're guilty. That's what it is. So whatever's happening in Iran, solidarity with the people.
Police has just put the comment now anyway.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen what happened, and I think thousands of women were taken to the street. Like you say, they killed a woman because she didn't wear a hijab. And now thousands are out in the street. Whether they're now fighting them, I don't know. Whether it's just like you say, isn't it?
It's a crazy world we're living in, man.
Yeah,
we're against any form of oppression. It's a woman's choice to wear the veil or not. We know about it. It's our culture. We know this shit. Nobody should ever be forced anywhere in this world. What a woman, as a woman's body, her choice, whatever she wants to do. Straight up.
Facts. Yep.
But anyway, big up Natalie. Natalie, let the people know where they can find you, sis. And you coming back on this channel, you know me, the invitation's always open. Always open.
You.
And we love for what you're doing as well with the women's team as well. Please make sure, people, you follow Natalie on Twitter, Natalie_17, and Only One United. You get a lot of match content because she's a season ticket holder for the women's as well. So she
does more content than all of us, man. Big up to Natalie, man. Honestly.
That's what I'm saying to you. She does the miles. She does the
and
miles.
also Natalie.
Honestly.
Natalie, man, that day when I saw you, man, you know what I mean? Natalie's if you want to have a good night out, go out night out with Natalie. She honestly, she's amazing, man. She's so fun.
No, I just want to say thanks, guys. I know there's been and people might say, "Oh, Natalie, why are you on this?" But no, I just wanted to get the message out, and I appreciate you letting me come on to get the message out that how it's affecting all teams, and it's not about this one thinks that and this one thinks that, or you do this, you do that. It's just about getting them out and improving our football club. Like you say, we've all had disagreements over everything, haven't we? I remember outside hotel football, we didn't agree with everything that was going on.
We don't.
But
and that's the beauty that we never want to always agree. Never. Because we're football fans. We see it differently. But you know what? I love you to death. I love you for having your opinion. Don't have to always agree with me. And if anybody's trying to give you some bad time for coming on this channel, fuck them. I'm sorry, but they can effort. At the end of the day, this channel was set up. I set this channel and he talks about the Glazers. He gets it. He gets it more than anybody now. He understands it's not about manager. And he's come out and said that potentially it's not about manager. It's about I've come out and been honest. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was naive under Mourinho and Ole. I was like, listen, man,
yes, the owners are bad, yes, this and that, but you know, we could get a different manager. But like I said, it's about people just understanding and learning, and that's why I give credit to Nuruddin, because I remember asking Nuruddin, get your channel going, and he kept saying, I'll do it, and now, big up, man, you've done it.
Yeah. But like you say, isn't it? Anyone come down, it's a different vibe at the women's. Like you said, you've seen it. It's a different vibe. It's not
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. There is a lot more respect between everyone. I'm not saying there isn't respect, but there is a lot more respect between everyone.
Totally different. It's just totally different.
Totally
different.
It's still about getting the Glazers out. It is still. I can't say it enough. Like I hope people. I'm hearing people might be bringing flags now and stuff to say it, because even though we love them girls on the pitch, and like you say, even though everything is sort of more happier and bit different, it's still always about getting them out, because until they're out, I just don't see any team doing well. So we're gonna see maybe a bit of change, and people might not like that I bring a flag to, with that on it. But it's like you say, isn't it? It's not for me.
It's not for them. It's for the bigger message. Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's simple for me. Like any fan's opinion about the way our football club is, but we have love and respect for each other. And at the end of the day, like I will support, and I've always said, me and Saeed will support any fan group, even though those people might not like us, they might not like our opinions, but at the end of the day, it's football opinions. But I said, you can go hate me as we get the Glazers out. But I'll join you in your fight to get the Glazers out. I'll join your fighting to get the Glazers out. For me, it's simple. Man United women's, we've got brilliant young talent. We've got Mancunians playing for this team. We've got amazing potential to literally all the young and little girls in Manchester, to show them something to be proud of, to represent them, to see the representation of them playing on the football pitch. And these owners are stopping it. These owners are stopping it. They're stopping it because they're not giving them the proper foundation and proper structure that's needed for them to go and compete with the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man City. They're not. They're not. And that's what we have to change. So big up to Natalie. Nothing but one love, Natalie. I'm not going to lie to you. I've got friends who've got daughters, but they're like, listen, how much is it going to cost to go there, So let me know about the, send me the details.
The direct bus.
About the coach that's taking you. Does he drop you back at Old Trafford? Yeah. He drops you outside. Yeah. So the pickup is from outside Old Trafford. Those of you in Manchester who've got daughters, you don't even have to have the daughters, but you want to support our team. It's like she says there, only one United. You want to support everybody who's Man United, representing Man United. Because like I said, the Man United Football Club was set up, owned by, and with the wishes and hopes and dreams by hard-working Mancunians. It's there. That's what the Glazers are living off, their hard work and graft. So that's what we'll support. But we'll give those details on Twitter as well. So make sure you get that to me, the coach. What time it leaves, what time it comes back. But big up, sis. Honestly, I can't say enough love and respect.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, both of you. I appreciate it. Just
big up. Get
the word out, just about the girls.
That's what we're doing, honestly. You know that, and I have to do that genuinely. I'm looking for anybody that might want to come and collaborate with the channel and basically talk about the women's game as well. Happy to have that people to come aboard. So we don't just talk about, we talk about the whole football club, not just the men's, the women's, the youth teams. We talk about it. To me, we should have had a parade for the under 23s. We should have had a parade. We should have had that. I know they come on the pitch, you know what I mean, to that game, last game that they play. They should be playing more. Why the women's team not playing more games at home and the men's are not playing? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Especially when it's on a Friday. It's on a Friday they can play, because Friday's not, we're not using the pitch. But I think it's because it's about money. It's if they're thinking about, it's not, if it's not worth it, then we won't do it.
But every time we've broken record, Man United have the highest record attendance for a women's game in this country. Facts.
Yeah. They can, like you say, it's how much they want to do it. They have to do it. They have to want to do it, because, like you say, there's all these things that we can do, and we're talking about making it simple, easy. But like you say, they just want to take the money for themselves. Whether it's take the money for themselves and Tenhag don't get any signings, or take the money for himself and the women don't get maximize the opportunities they should be getting. And until they go, I feel like not much will change. Little bit here, you know, little bit. Oh, they'll do this, they'll do that.
Little bit. It's not
hello,
the foundations.
not
It's
enough.
the foundations
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
If you have the
I
proper
know.
structure, you know what? If you have the proper structure and the proper foundations, little bit, then can add you to go and win in a league or win in a cup. You know what I mean? Little bit here and there without the foundations ain't gonna. It's like plaster wound, innit? Plaster over the double barrel
sticker on it. Yeah. Putting a sticker over that big massive leak. That's just what they want to do.
This is it. Listen, at the end of the day, it's what it is. But please, people, go and make sure you follow Natalie. Natalie_17 and Only One United. Check out all their content. Love and likes this. You're more than welcome to come back, spread the message.
Thanks a lot.
This is what they're doing to the women's team as well. They're doing it at every level. Glazers out, win, lose or draw. Bankers out, Glazers out. Peace, love, light, people. See you in the next one. Big up. Please smash a like on the video on your way out. Big up, Khalees, United Real Therapy Chief Editor. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.